Hello friends, good evening.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
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 Okay. How's the Josh?
Hi,
Hi,
sir.
sir.
Hi, sir.
Hi,
Hi,
very good.
sir.
Excellent. That's how it should be. You have completed 2 papers, right? Don't worry about how it went. Don't discuss about it at all. Not required. If it has gone well, excellent. Okay, take that momentum, take that confidence going, and you can maximize your marks in the next 2 papers also. Okay, so that's how you have to approach. Just because those 2 papers went well doesn't mean that these 2 papers also will be easy, correct? So we have to start from the scratch. If those 2 papers didn't go as expected, again, don't worry about it. You have a wonderful opportunity to compensate for it. Okay, put in all your efforts for the next 2 papers so that you can maximize your marks and compensate. Ultimately, what we require is passing, getting 200. So that's how you approach. Don't worry. There could be some scenarios where it didn't go as expected. There will be 1 paper normally. Okay, so nothing to worry about it. As of now, as at this point in time, just forget about those 2 papers. Okay, that's what we are supposed to do. So with this, why are we here is to understand what we need to do the next 1.5 days. The next 1.5 days that we have is extremely crucial for us. Even though we say 1.5 days, maximum you might get is around 18 to 20 hours, not beyond that. Okay, for your preparations. So in that, how effectively you can utilize, that's what matters. That's what is important, because each and every point that you do, the aspects that you focus on will help you to increase the marks. Okay, so that's how we need to focus. So that's the very reason why we are discussing this. So this particular session will not be technical. I'll definitely not be discussing any concepts here. It's pure what needs to be done in the next 1.5 days. Okay, that's what we'll be focusing. So with this, we will start the session. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. There is no point in worrying about what will happen on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Okay, there's no point, right? What are we supposed to do is just focus on today. What can we do today so that our Saturday 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. would be smooth? Okay, that's what our focus should be. So give your best for the next 4 5 days. That's all maximum. So give your best 100%. It'll be over, and we have to have a change here, shift in our mindset. Till now we were focusing on writing the answers, the first 2 papers, right? The more we write, the better value addition to the answers. But here it's objective MCQs, so there should be a shift, because here we cannot waste our time in going with the steps, workings, etc. Right? We have to get the answers in seconds, right? Preferably most of the questions we should be able to answer in the calculator itself. If not, for certain small steps purposes, we can use the rough sheets, the question paper, the last page, wherever we have the rough workings pages space, that we can use. So we have to be quick, we have to be faster and accurate also, because this is MCQs, right? There's no marks for stepwise answering here, right? Either you get full mark or you lose marks. So you have to be accurate also. There are 100 questions, 1 mark each. You have written 2 mock papers, you know how the pattern is, right? As such, so 1 mark each. Yes, there is negative marking. We have discussed about this in the MTP evaluations as well, right? Don't worry about negative marking when you start your examination. Don't worry about it. Negative marking related decision you have to take at the fag end of the paper, especially maybe around half an hour, 45 minutes. The last half an hour, 45 minutes is the time wherein you will take decisions on whether you will answer those questions or not, depending on how your first 1.5 hours went. Okay, that's how it should be. So first 1.5 hours, don't worry about negative marking. Just go and answer whatever you know. Okay, that's what we are doing. And focus on formula. Extremely important. This material, which I'm not sure whether it's shared. If it is not yet shared, it will be shared. It will be shared. This has list of formulae. okay, at the end. So the list of formula, go through all the formulas, which are very, very important for us, because sometimes they can directly ask you the formula itself in the question. Sometimes it's plain application of that formula and getting the answers. So that's the reason formula becomes very, very important. So focus on the formulas. You can especially use this material at the end, okay, the last, at whatever time you want to stop your preparations before going to the examination hall. Maybe the last 15-20 minutes, you can just glance through this so that you'll get the hold of or revise all the formulas at once. Okay, that can also be done. And one very important point for this paper specifically is you should forget the word scared, fear till Saturday evening. Okay, that you should not have any amount of doubt. You should not have any amount of fear when you approach this particular paper. Yes, there will be nervousness, there will be anxiety, those are fine, absolutely fine. But scared, no. Underconfident, no. You have put in all the efforts. We have seen how we performed in the MTP papers as well. Correct? So yes, it is possible. Okay, you have put in the efforts. For that efforts, definitely it is possible. So just go and enjoy yourselves for the 2 hours, because the more you keep yourselves calm, the more marks you get. That's a simple thing that works in this paper. Okay, so you have to keep yourselves calm. It's absolutely fine when you get the question paper, since series are different for different people. The first 5 questions that you read, even if you don't know it, absolutely fine. You still have 95 questions left. You want only 40 marks, correct? So don't panic. Don't panic. Just move on to the next questions. Once you start answering the known questions, you'll get the confidence. Okay, it's the first 20-25 minutes which is crucial in the examination hall, especially in this paper for those 2 hours. First 20-25 minutes, how well you answer, how well you keep yourselves in the examination hall, that matters. Okay, so keep yourselves calm. Time management is very, very crucial, because we only have 120 minutes here for 100 marks, right? 120 minutes. So do not take more than 1 minute per question. More than 1 minute. If it is taking more time, it's okay. At that point, leave that question, go to the next question. You can always come back later and solve it, right? So don't make yourselves stuck at a particular question. And the two MTP series that is released by ICAI for your exams, go through those two, glance through the questions. Sometimes they can just pick the questions from that itself. In that case, advantage is you have already seen that questions, you know the answer. There might be a scenario that you need not solve it at all. Just by looking at the option, you know which is the answer, right? That's the best advantage of it. And when you're solving, again, it's completely up to you. Definitely you're not learning anything new in the next 1.5 days. Even if you have not read a particular chapter, absolutely fine, it's okay. Not learning anything new. Whatever you have learned, you will be revising. There, if you have already marked certain questions, yes, these questions I have to go through before the day before the exams, go through those questions. If you have not marked through, we have solved good amount of questions in the class. Just glance through those questions. In the institute study material, you have set A and set B questions. Correct. Glance through those questions. Don't look at set C at all. Don't look at it at all. Set A and set B is sufficient. Glance through those questions. That will definitely help. And don't miss this, because solving problems everyone can do. The concepts, this is extremely important, especially in statistics. Okay, focus on those theories, straight forward, 20 marks. Out of that, worst case scenario, you can, if there are 20 questions, 15 marks, you can easily score. And the time, in 10 minutes, you can answer 20 questions there, right? That's how crucial it is from time management perspective, scoring perspective also. Simple. First 15 minutes, if you answer those 20 questions, let's say, and you're confident of 15 questions, in first 15 minutes, 15 marks is in your pocket, right? Next 1 hour 45 minutes, you want for 25 marks more. No pressure, right? That's how crucial these questions are. Okay, that's how crucial these questions are. Don't miss them. And as I said, don't read anything new here. We cannot grasp it, and it will impact your other chapters also, which you have already prepared. So don't worry about it. Even if you have left 10% of the syllabus, absolutely fine. And focus on quick workings. You would have solved during your preparations, you would have done it. But since in the last 5-6 days, you'll be focused only on writing. You need to get hold of it. So preferably when you're learning chapter wise, solve 2 to 3 questions quickly so that you will get hold of solving quick again. Okay, you'll get used to it. So quick workings. And as I said, don't get stuck at any question. You can just move on and come. You can always come back. Calculators, extremely important. Working calculator. Don't take a new one. Don't take a new one. The one that you were using at the time of your preparations, because you are used to it, right? You know, without seeing also you'll be able to type the numbers. So take the calculator. Preferably take one spare. Okay, safer side. Just in case it should not happen, touch wood, but just in case something happen, we are prepared. Right? So take one spare calculator as well. And take all the required stationaries, pen, pencil, whatever is required. Take all the required stationaries. These anyhow, you will be taken care of that because I've already written 2 papers, but still it's our job to discuss so that you don't miss it. Right? Now, coming to this subject, we all know there are 3 parts: maths 40 marks, logical reasoning 20 marks, and statistics 40 marks. We have discussed right through from the first class. We cannot ignore any of this, right? Each one of it, we can have certain targets so that cumulatively we'll achieve our overall target, right? That's how we have to focus on. That's how we have to manage. Even if maths is difficult for us, there are certain topics, certain questions which are easy. We can easily score marks therein. So those topics we cannot miss, right? That's what we have to focus. Okay, so what are the areas that we have to focus in the next 1.5 days? Okay, so chapter specific. Coming to mathematics, the first chapter, ratio, proportions, indices, logarithms, normally 5 to 6 marks will be there from examination perspective. You can spend 1 hour 15 minutes there for this particular chapter. What are the things that we can do? We have to discuss on ratio, comparison of two quantities of same kind, right? Different types of ratios. We have inverse ratio, compound ratios, multiplication, duplicate is square, right? Subduplicate square root, triplicate is cubes, subtriplicate is cube root, commensurable, incommensurable, rational numbers, irrational, accordingly commensurable, incommensurable ratios. Then we have proportions, equality of 2 ratios. Their product of extremes is equal to product of means. What happens if we have only 3 terms there? Means would be same, correct? B square is equal to AC. Then we have properties in proportions, invertendo, alternando, componendo, dividendo, etc. Go through them. Simple, straightforward questions can be asked. Then we have indices. In indices, we have laws of indices. A par m whole par n, A plus A par m into A par n, right? A par m by A par n. So those laws of indices, just glance through and solve some problems there. Then logarithms. Here, first thing is we should focus on converting indices into logarithm, logarithm into indices. That particular aspect, and laws of logarithms. Similar to indices we have there as well. Log A plus log B is log of A into B, right? Those properties. Go through that, completes the first chapter. Then we have equations. It looks simpler, right? 4 to 5 marks. Most of the cases we will be able to solve it through option elimination method also possible, right? Spend 1 hour 15 minutes there, solve the maximum problems possible there. Simple equations is easy. It's just straightforward discussion. There we can have simultaneous equation. In simultaneous equation, we had discussed about elimination method, cross multiplication method. Cross multiplication method, just formula go through. You might not be required to apply, but just in case if formula based question is asked, you should be able to know, right? Elimination method, we all know how to solve it. Any which case, simultaneous equation solving we can do with the option elimination as well. Quadratic equation is very, very important. There are parts there. One is solving quadratic equation. In solving quadratic equation, we have formula or factorization, whichever is works for you, you can go with, but you should know the formula. Okay, you should know the formula. Then we have sum of the roots, product of the roots. If you know sum of the roots, product of the roots, how to get the equation, right? All those concepts. And then lastly, which is very, very important, is nature of the roots. B square minus 4AC is 0, greater than 0, less than 0. Accordingly, the nature of the roots change. That is very, very crucial, very, very important. And then we have cubic equation. Most of the cases we will be able to solve it through option elimination. However, in some cases where all options look identical, we will have to solve. Right? How do we solve it? factorization method. First, by trial and error method, get one root, convert that quadratic cubic into quadratic, then you know how to solve quadratic equation. Then we have linear inequalities. We can spend half an hour there because 2 to 3 marks, easy, straightforward. What is there? Linear inequality with one variable, with two variable. What are we supposed to do there? We should know how to present it in the graph. Once you present them in the graph, identify that area which satisfies all the inequalities. That is a feasible region, right? So revolving around that, there will be questions. Okay, 2 to 3 questions normally. Then most important chapter, mathematics of finance, 14 to 16 marks, sometimes even more. 2 hours, 30 minutes you can spend, around 2.5 hours. Again, these are just indicative. Depending on your confidence, you can shift it. That's absolutely fine. You can change it. 2.5 hours you can spend. What are the things that we can focus there? Simple interest, the formula, amount calculation, compound interest formula, amount, conversion periods, compounded half yearly, compounded quarterly, compounded monthly, correct? Then we have effective rate of interest, the formula, same compound interest formula without P. Then annuity. Under annuity, we have two types, annuity regular, annuity due. Annuity regular, payment happens at the end, annuity due, payment happens at the beginning. Under annuity regular, we have future value, present value. Annuity due, we have future value, present value. Future value of annuity regular is a into 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I. Future value of annuity due is future value of annuity regular multiplied by 1 plus I. Present value of annuity regular is future value of annuity regular divided by 1 plus I to the power n. Present value of annuity due is present value of annuity regular for n minus 1 years plus initial installment. Right? This is the formula that we have for annuities. Right? Regular, immediate, future value, present value, all this. Perpetuity will only have the present value there because it's forever. A divided by I. If it is growing, I minus G. Then NPV, net present value. Net present value is present value of cash inflow minus the cash outflow. Right? That's how we get NPV. We had sinking fund, leasing, all those discussions there. Then you have nominal rate of return. Go through that formula. Nominal rate is actual real rate minus inflation. Correct? That's the concept of real rate, nominal rate, etc. Then you have CAGR also. Just go through the formula. Okay, CAGR. Just in case if they ask, you should be able to solve it. Okay, with that, we can come to chapter 5. Permutations and combinations. 4 to 5 marks there. Again, we can spend 1 hour there. What are the things that we have? Again, we only have two things there. Permutation, combination. Both focus on arrangement or selection. If order of selection is important, we go with permutation. If order of selection is not important, we go with combination. So under permutation, first we have formula. NPR is n factorial by n minus r factorial. N factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial is NCR. There are a few theorems in permutation, some standard results. Circular permutation is n minus 1 factorial. However, if it is beads, etc., divided by 2. Then permutations with restriction. What if one is not at all selected, one is always selected, right? All those concepts. Combinations, the respective standard results. NCR is equal to NC, n minus r, right? All those concepts, just go through. Then we have arithmetic progression, geometric progression, very easy discussion there. 3 to 4 marks, easily we can score. 1 hour we can spend. What are the things that we have to focus there? We have arithmetic progression. In arithmetic progression, finding out the nth term a plus n minus 1 into d. Finding the sum n by 2 into a plus l or n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. That's all. Correct. Coming to geometric progression. In geometric progression also we have Tn is equal to a r to the power n minus 1. Sum depends on the value of r. R is greater than 0, greater than 1, r is less than 1, etc. Then we also have there sum up to infinity, a divided by 1 minus r. Correct. So those points that we have to focus. Here d is the common difference, r is the common ratio. Then 7th chapter, sets, relations and functions, basics of limits and continuity. We can spend 45 minutes, 3 to 4 marks normally. From that, of which 1 or 2 questions will be from the first part of the chapter. Sets, basic properties, singleton set, subset, right, power set, Cartesian product of a set, right? All those concepts, based on that they can ask. So don't miss that, because this is easy, right? Don't miss that. Easily we can score 1 or 2 marks. Then we have relations and functions. We had understood the conditions to be satisfied to be called a function, right? Every element of A should be mapped. They should have unique mapping. If that is satisfied, Pranita, it's called a function. Once it is a function, we have categorization of functions, correct? One to one, many to many, one to one, onto function, into function, right? Likewise, surjective, objective functions, all those types of functions. Then we also went on to relations. We have 3 types of relations there, correct? Reflexive, symmetric, transitive. If all the 3 are satisfied, equivalence. So their comparison, we have to compare and see whether the relationships work. Then we have limits and continuity. There, in case of a limit for any particular given function, that function can reach that particular number that they are focusing on, x approaching 2 or approaching 3, whatever it is, that can be approached from left hand side as well as right hand side. So there will be 2 limits, left hand side limit, right hand side limit. In exams, what will they ask? They'll ask you to substitute. You have to just substitute. Upon substitution, if LHL is equal to RHL, then limit exists. If limit exists, it is continuous. That's all. Okay, that is what we are supposed to know. Okay, so even if you don't know anything there, if they ask any question on limits, you have just substitute and tick the answer and come. That should be the answer. Beyond that, they'll not ask. Even if there is any question, normally they won't ask from limits. However, even if they ask one question, it's pure basic substitution. Then coming to differentiation and integration, we have discussed about how to approach this particular paper, this particular chapter especially, correct? 3 to 4 marks. We can spend 45 minutes. What are the things that we have to focus there? Focus on those differentiation, limited formulas that we learned. Differentiation, limited formula, solve those formulas. Just to focus on the notes that you have written. That is sufficient. Just solve the formulas solve the questions that we had solved in the class. And there are some standard results, right? We had discussed about product rule, quotient rule, right? All those discussions, just glance through. Basic laws of differentiation we have discussed. Then don't miss this cost function, marginal cost, average cost. Then you had marginal revenue, right? If I have a cost function, how do I get marginal cost? Marginal cost is differentiation of the cost. They can ask you the value of x at which cost is minimum, differentiate and equate it to 0. Read all those discussions. Don't miss integration. If you know the formula, excellent. If you do not know the formula, reverse the differentiation, you get the integration. Even during our revision classes, we discussed how to approach certain definite integrals as well. Right? How to approach certain definite integrals as well. That also we had discussed. Again, if you are able to do it, else absolutely fine. One question you can always leave it, not a worry. Okay, so just don't worry much about integration. So these are the things that we have in mathematics. Okay, 40 marks. Coming to logical reasoning, nothing technical as we all know. So what are we supposed to do? Just glance through maximum number of questions possible. Okay, you can spend 2 hours for logical reasoning in your preparations, revision. So just glance through maximum number of questions possible, because if one of those questions is lifted in the examination, you know the answer. You need not break your head to identify what is the pattern, right? All those things get saved. So here, number series, coding, decoding, odd man out, 5 marks, 30 minutes you can spend there. What are the things that we have there? Number series, alphabet series. So there, letter series there. The main thing is identifying the pattern. Once you get the pattern, it's easy. Then you have coding and decoding, which we had solved problems, right? Letter coding, number coding, etc. Identifying the odd man out, which is not part of the group. Then direction test, 5 marks, 30 minutes you can spend. You have to just know the directions. However, while solving those questions, be careful with the data given in the question, information given in the question. Right? Extremely important. We might miss certain things. Right? They might have given right, but by oversight, we think it is left and the entire question goes for a toss. Correct? So be careful. It's okay if you read it slowly or read it 2 times, absolutely fine. Because this is where we cannot go wrong. right? These are the cases where we cannot go wrong. So that's the reason, be very careful. Similarly, seating arrangement, linear arrangement, arranging them in a straight line. What are we supposed to do? We should know the arrangement, in the sense we should start from a particular starting point based on the information given. From that, we can compare and accordingly get the arrangement. Once you get the arrangement, look at the question and answer based on the requirement. Similarly, circular arrangement. In linear also, we have two rows. Normally, when they give two rows, they'll be opposite, sitting opposite to each other, facing to themselves. This is called diagonally opposite in the two-way presentation, two rows presentation. In circular permutation, in circular presentation, circular arrangement, when they say you are moving to your left, that means it is clockwise. You are moving to a right, that means it is anti-clockwise. Okay, those are the things, small things but important. Then blood relations, just glance through the relationships that is given in the material, that is sufficient, and solve problems to get hold of it. Right there, especially questions like Mr. A said, looking at a photograph, this person is the so and so, so and so. So that kind of a question, you might get confused. So practice that kind of a question, or go through that kind of a questions more. Right, just glance through the relationships. That should be sufficient for logical reasoning preparation. Then coming to statistics, right? This is where we need to score more because of the concept based questions that will be asked. At least 15 questions out of 40 will be theory, concept based. First chapter, statistical representation of data and sampling, extremely important. 3 to 4 marks, sometimes even 5 marks they have asked. It's mostly theory based questions. Easily we can score there, 4 or 5 marks easily. Let's spend 45 minutes in the material, whatever revision material what we have, each and every point can be questionable in the exam. Okay, so that's the reason, that's very, very important. 45 minutes easily we can spend, it's worth it. Definition of statistics, plural noun, singular noun, application of statistics, limitations, those 3-4 limitations that we discussed. Data types, qualitative, quantitative. Under quantitative we had discrete variable, continuous variable, right? Qualitative is also called as attribute. Then based on collection of data, we have primary data, secondary data. Types of collecting primary data. We had different ways of collecting methods, right? Interview method. Then you had mailed questionnaire, observation method, questionnaire with enumerators. For secondary data, we did not have methods, rather we had sources of secondary data. Once the data is collected, it has to be scrutinized for two reasons, accuracy and consistency. Then presentation of data into frequency group, non-frequency group, right? Qualitative, quantitative, geographical and time series, temporal data. Then classification, mode of presentation of data, textual, tabular and diagrammatic representation. Textual presentation, okay. Tabular presentation, we had discussed about the parts of the table. That is very, very important. Don't miss it. Parts of the table is very, very important. Diagrammatic representation, we had bar diagram, line diagram and pie chart. Which cases we use different kinds of bar diagram, line diagram, that is important. Line diagram, if there is fluctuation of data, ratio chart, right? One single line diagram, if I want to bring in two different time series, if there are same units, multiple line chart, if there are different units, multiple axis line chart. Likewise, bar diagram, for certain cases it is vertical bar diagram, certain cases horizontal bar diagram, geographical series, qualitative data, etc. Then we also discussed about component, subdivided, grouped bar diagrams, etc. All those types, that becomes important. Pie chart, converting it into degrees, that can be asked. Okay, that is important, that can be asked. Then we have frequency distribution. We had discussed how to construct a frequency distribution, discrete and continuous. Important terminologies. We have class limits, class boundaries, how to get upper class boundary, upper class limit plus d by 2, lower class boundary, lower class limit minus d by 2. Midpoint is the representative of the class, whether you consider class limit or class boundary doesn't matter. UCL plus LCL by 2 or UCB plus LCB by 2, you get the same midpoint. Class size can be obtained only by taking difference between class boundaries, not class limits, only class boundaries. Then cumulative frequency, less than, more than. Correct? Those are the concepts there, cumulative frequency. Then we discussed about frequency density. Frequency density, we only focus on that particular class interval, frequency divided by class size. Then relative frequency is frequency divided by the total frequency. We only focus on frequency column. Then converting that into percentage, we get percentage frequency. Then we also discussed about graphical representation. In that area diagram was similar to your bar diagram. Correct? The only difference is bars are adjacent to each other. So there we use class boundaries. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there we use class boundaries in the x-axis. Area diagram is used to calculate mode. Likewise, frequency polygon is similar to line diagram. The only difference there is we get a shape of a polygon. How? By extending the ends. Correct? For frequency polygon, we use midpoints. Correct? Then frequency polygon is done. Then we have ogives. Ogives, we use cumulative frequency. Since we have two types, we get two types of ogives. We can get median and other partition values using this ogives. Then you have frequency curve, 4 types depending on the pattern. Freehand curve. Then we also have something called sampling. Don't ignore that. Okay, there will be one question which we can easily answer. Just focus on whatever we had discussed in the class. There is story given. Don't worry about those stories. Basic principle of sample survey, just glance through. Errors in sampling. Then types of sampling. Calculation of number of samples. Number of samples. That is very, very important. With replacement, without replacement, there are two formulas. Correct? That is extremely important. Just give me a second. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
The next chapter, which is very, very important, again, like mathematics of finance, measures of central tendency and dispersion. 15 to 18 marks. Very, very important. You can spend 2.5 hours here also. What are the things that we have to focus? There are two parts. Measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion. Measures of central tendency, 5 measures. Arithmetic mean, formula, very, very important for raw data, discrete data, continuous data we have discussed. And also that assumed mean approach, you should know the formula because some cases they can directly give you summation if d is so and so, calculate arithmetic mean. Possible. Along with the formula, properties don't ignore. Very, very important properties. Then we have median, middlemost value when they are arranged in ascending order for raw data. How to calculate median in case of discrete and continuous, including that formula, identifying the median class, applying the formula we have discussed. Properties, there is one property unique to median. What is that? Median, the sum of absolute deviations is minimum when the deviations are taken from median. That is crucial there. And median is most suited for open-ended class intervals. Then we also discussed about partition values, quartiles, deciles, percentiles. Approach is similar to median, arrange them in ascending order. Instead of middlemost, we will go with n plus 1 into p or n into p in case of discrete and continuous. We know the formula. Mode, identifying the most repeated data, right? In case of continuous, how to first identify the model class and then apply the formula. Properties, the change of scale, change of origin property remains the same for all the measures of central tendency. Then geometric mean, they might ask you to calculate geometric mean. Yes, possible with 4 numbers, not beyond that. More than that, properties, focus on that. And harmonic mean, yes, calculations also can be asked. Properties also, there more important is combined harmonic mean. Then coming to measures of dispersion, we have two types: absolute measure, relative measure. We know what is absolute and relative depending on units of measurement, comparison, etc. Range, how to calculate the formula, properties. Coefficient of range, mean deviation formula, properties. Coefficient of mean deviation, again for raw data, discrete data, we have different discussions. Then standard deviation is very, very important. Standard deviation for both raw data, discrete data, we have two kinds of formula, two types of formula rather. We should know both, including the assumed mean formula. Then properties of standard deviation, very, very crucial. Combined standard deviation is very, very important there. Then quartile deviation, semi-interquartile range. Again, they need not ask quartile deviation. They can ask semi-interquartile range, right? Alternative. How to calculate the properties. These are the things that we have in measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion. Then we have probability, 4 to 5 marks, 1 hour we can spend. Okay, 1 hour we can spend. Again, there are certain things that might be difficult for you people, for some of us at least. Ignore, focus on the easy areas. Okay, there are a few formulas which are easily we can apply, especially before we move into those, we have those terminologies, right? What is random experiment, events, simple event, compound event, mutually exclusive means they cannot occur together. Exhaustive means apart from that, there can be nothing beyond that. Equally likely means chance of occurrence of A and B are same, equal. Then we discuss classical definition. Favorable outcomes by total outcome. So identify total, identify favorable. Here we also discussed about odds in favor and odds against ratio. That is also important. Favorable is to unfavorable is odds in favor. Unfavorable is to favorable is odds against. Then set theoretic approach. There we have discussed about union of events and intersection of events. If either A or B or both is the scenario, we have to go with union. A union B is P of A union B is P of A plus P of B in case of mutually exclusive. P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B in case of mutually inclusive. Similarly, we can have A union B union C. That also can be important. 3. P of A union B union C can be important. Then intersection depends on whether the events are dependent or not. If they are independent, easy P of A into P of B. If they are dependent, then we have P of A given B, B given A. That's what we are supposed to calculate. Then last part of that chapter also can be asked, which is simple: expected value and properties. That is probability distribution. X and P will be given. We have to just calculate P into X. Summation Px will give me expected value. Summation Px square minus summation Px the whole square will give me the variance there. Right? E of X square minus E of X the whole square. Then fourth chapter we have is theoretical distribution. 4 to 5 marks, 1 hour we can spend. This is an extension of probability with theories. We have under discrete, we have 2, binomial and Poisson. Under continuous, we have normal. Right? Binomial distribution, there are certain characteristics of a Bernoulli trial. Characteristic of a Bernoulli trial. If those characteristics are satisfied, then I can apply binomial distribution. NCX is into P to the power X into Q to the power N minus X is the formula to calculate probability in a binomial distribution. There are some properties which are important. Mean, NP, variance, NPQ, standard deviation, root of NPQ, how to calculate mode. Mode depends on the value of, right? So all those N plus 1 into P, all those discussions we have to focus. Don't miss them. Similarly, Poisson distribution. Again, this is what? This is again based on discrete distribution itself. However, probability will be small, number will be large. In such cases, we go with Poisson. We know the formula e to the power minus m into m to the power x by x factorial. Properties again there, mean, variance, all are m there. Standard deviation is square root of m, mode depends on m. Read all those properties. Then we have normal distribution for continuous. Formula for normal distribution we have into e to the power minus mu minus x minus mu the whole square divided by 2 sigma square. This we need not by heart, but we should know where mu and sigma is so that we can identify and take the parameters. Correct? That is important. Then properties of normal distribution, extremely important. It is normal curve, symmetric, right? All those discussions, mean, so how to calculate mean deviation, quartile deviation, Q1, points of inflection, right? All those discussions become important, and converting a normal distribution into standard normal. Z, x minus mu by sigma, right? That is important, and getting the area and identifying the probability. Okay, that's what is there in normal distribution. Then we have correlation and regression. We can spend 6 to 7 marks. Okay, we can spend 1 hour. There will be 6 to 7 marks. May not be 7, but 6 marks at least. 5 to 6 marks normally from examination perspective. Again, to start with, there is something called bivariate data there. Presenting two variables in one single frequency distribution is bivariate. Then in a bivariate distribution, if I take one variable, the frequency distribution of one variable across the complete range of the other variable, that is called marginal distribution. If I take frequency distribution of one variable against specific values of the other variable, that's called conditional distribution. So if we have m rows and n columns, there will be two marginal distributions and m plus n conditional distributions. That is important. How many conditional distribution, how many marginal distribution will be there? That can be asked in the exams. Then correlation, types of correlation, positive, negative, there is no correlation, right? Then measures of correlation, we have 4 measures. First one was scatter diagram. It is just plotting the points, getting the trend. If I get a trend like this, rising line, it is positive, falling line is negative. Then Carl Pearson's product moment correlation coefficient, the formula is very, very important. It is best suited for linear correlation. Then properties there also is very, very important. Carl Pearson's is extremely important. Similarly, Spearman's rank correlation suited for qualitative. We can also use it for quantitative. What we do there, assign ranks. If there is tied ranks, assign the average. Don't forget about t cube minus t by 12 in case of tied ranks. Then coefficient of concurrent deviation, assign the signs. Since we do not assign signs for the first value, the number of deviation m will be 1 less than the total number. Identify those concurrent deviation, meaning deviations of same sign, that is concurrent, and apply the formula. Then we have regression. Under regression, there are two types of equations. Equation of y on x, equation of x on y. They have their parameters of a and b, with byx and bxy being the coefficients. Calculate, apply the formula and calculate them so that we get the regression equations. Their properties are very, very crucial, especially if we get two regression equations, how to get the arithmetic mean, solve, right? If I know the two regression coefficients, can I get correlation coefficient? Yes, geometric mean, right? Those properties are extremely crucial there. Then you have probable error concept, getting the correlation coefficient of population. P is equal to R plus or minus probable error. That concept. Then we had coefficient of determination R square, coefficient of non-determination 1 minus R square. Okay, those are the things that we had in correlation and regression. The last chapter, very easy chapter, 3 to 4 marks easily we can score there. 45 minutes you can spend, index numbers. To start with, we have some theory there. Criteria for construction, selection of data, base period should be reasonably normal year, selection of weight, normally quantity would be the weights for price index, price would be the weights for quantity index, choice of variable, selection of formula, average. We go with arithmetic mean for ease of calculation, but best suited is geometric mean for index numbers. Then, so method of construction, we have different types: simple aggregate, simple average of relatives, weighted aggregate. In weighted aggregate, we had different Laspierre, Paasche, Marshall Edgeworth, right? Fishers. Then a weighted average of relatives, which is nothing but Laspierre's index. Then we also discussed about chain index number. Chain index is link relative divided by 100 into chain index of the previous year. Then quantity index, just interchange price with quantity. Then you have value index, price into quantity, limitations of index numbers, usefulness of index numbers, deflating the time series. Yes, deflating the time series is removing the impact of inflation. That is very, very important. Deflating the time series can be asked, go through. Shifting and splicing. Shifting the base means You have one set of index from base of this year, we will shift it to this year. Cross multiplication, you will get it. Splicing is you have one set of index, one set of time series, another set of time series with a common base. You will merge this also with this. That is splicing the time series. Then you have tests of adequacy, which is important. 4 tests. Unit test. Everything other than simple aggregate satisfies unit test. Time reversal test Fisher. Factor reversal test Fisher. And circular test. Simple geometric mean of price relative and weighted aggregate with fixed weights. Those are the index numbers which satisfies those respective tests. Those are the things that can be asked in the exams. Okay, so these are the concepts that we have in the syllabus. Okay, so we got a fair idea. It's not that we'll be able to remember everything at this point in time. Absolutely fine. Which are the now you know which are the areas that you are more confident, which are the areas which are you are less confident. So accordingly, you can plan the next 1.5 days and prepare, right? So that you have equal confidence in all the topics. Yes. Having said that, as I started with, go to the examination hall with positive attitude and mindset. Okay, positive attitude and mindset with no underconfidence, with no fear. Do not panic in the examination hall. That is very, very crucial. At any point in time, if you're not able to do, if you're not able to know what needs to be done, absolutely fine. Don't panic. Sit for 2 minutes, idle, take deep breaths, drink a sip of water, and then restart. You will be able to do it. Okay, because you have put in all the efforts that is required. So there is no question that you will not get through. You will definitely get through. Okay, so not to worry about that. And I just gave you what do you say, suggested time limits or time period that you can spend for each topics. I'll not give you any specific timetable. That is based on your confidence level. With chapter wise, you can plan. However, don't start your preparations without planning. Okay, spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes, plan how you want to read, which are the topics that you want to read now, which are the topics that you want to read tomorrow, right? You have to plan. That is very, very crucial. Having said that, since you have just written a law paper, you would be tired. So don't start with standard topics. Some easy topics, maybe a couple of chapters of logical reasoning, right? Any easy topic you can study today. Have a great, good sleep today and tomorrow. Okay, don't compromise on sleep. Very, very important for maths exam because your mind have to be calm. So have a great sleep, come wake up fresh tomorrow and start with the standard topics. That's how your approach should be. And think less. Don't think about what happens in the examination, how the question paper will be. What we are supposed to do at this point in time is to revise, do that more. That's all. Okay, that's what you have to do. And extremely important is believe in yourselves. Believe in yourselves. If you believe that you can, 100% you will. Okay, so believing in yourselves is extremely crucial. Ask yourselves if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. So is it helping you to write the examination better, in a better manner? That is what you have to ask yourselves. If the answer is yes, you're on the right path. If the answer is no, you have to think and come back. What needs to be done is to be done. So just thinking negative things doesn't help, right? Instead, use that time for preparing itself. Dreams don't work unless you do. So just focus. It's just balance 4 or 5 days. Give your 100% whatever you have. After that, no one will ask you to read. Right? So all the very best, guys. With this, again, this is what I wanted to show you. Right? This is the formula material. The chapter wise, all the possible formulas that are there in the syllabus, it's been summarized here. So you can just glance through them so that you'll get hold of it. Okay, so that's what we are supposed to do. So with this, I'm done with what I wanted to convey. If anyone has anything specific, you can ask. Obviously, nothing technical, no doubts, but some general discussions if there is anything. No? Good to go?
No, sir.
Okay, excellent.
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. So if that is the case, we'll not waste much time. You can use the time also for your preparations. Yes, Likita, tell me.
Sir, while shading the option, we need to shade in pen or pencil, sir.
Pen.
Pen.
Pen. Yes. No, sorry. It has to be in pencil. Shading is pencil. Writing the roll numbers, all those things will be in pen. Shading has to be in pencil. It has to be in pencil. So carry extra pencils with sharpener, and don't waste time sharpening in the examination hall, right? With well sharpened pencils, 4 5 pencils you carry, so that once the sharpness gets faded, you can use the other pencils. Okay, it has to be in pencil. Yeah, good that you pointed out. It has to be in pencil.
Thank you, sir.
Anyhow, in the examination, they'll give the question paper. Read the instructions carefully. Okay, read the instructions carefully, because if you do, unfortunately, if you do something that takes your concentration out, that will impact your performance also, right? So read the instructions carefully and then answer. Clear? Yes, Agna.
So can we carry like any white paper for the rough?
No. No, you will not be allowed. You will be given question paper. That question paper will have space, top, bottom, last page. They will have some space. You will have to do it, manage with that space itself. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any other points? No. Excellent. So, fine then. So we'll conclude the session, guys. All the very best. Just keep yourselves calm and rock it. Okay. Nothing to worry about. You will, each one of you definitely will be able to achieve it. Okay, so with that, we will definitely meet subsequently in the pass out meet. We'll meet in the pass out meet, guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.